I've been injured by a rogue troll that's rampaging around these parts. Please, find the beast and slay it. It's a danger to our camp and to all travelers. Look for it up the road. I will end the beast's life. Does the beast still live? Where should we be looking? Go got the rampaging. Was not seen far from the camp. Up the road. I will slay it. I'm Kala. Go in peace, but beware the spirits of this land. They are treacherous. I'll heed your words. You're always welcome here. Please, I'll be interested to hear the tale of old Arkova. The ruins that daunt the landscape here were once part of a thriving culture in ancient times. Arkova prospered by acting like a trade hub between western lands and the Great Lake. From the fishing village of New Harbour, from the little fish of New Harbour, which is hardly a harbour at all, the stone pylons of Arkova's once massive docks can still be seen jutting from the water, along the wood long rotted away. How did Arkova fall? Arkova was a proud city, but its people overly obsessed with war and titles. The nobility constantly maneuvered and plotted against one another, sometimes leading Arkova into civil war. Some seasons, little was planted, as the common men from different fiefs were called to arms by lords squabbling with one another. Eventually society collapsed, and a weakened Arkova became easy prey to outside powers. Provinces were lost. You rover? Yeah. Provinces were lost, and the domain of Arkova contracted, yet the city itself was never conquered by foreign foes. Its death is far more sinister. What did happen to the city of Arkova then? In the final years, decades after Rowan, the last king of Arkova and father of the Roani abdicated the throne. The great houses came to outright war over the vacant throne. Let's just take a quick drink. Eventually an oligarchy formed, comprised of the most powerful remaining houses. Each was ever maneuvering and plotting against the others, all believing if they could only seize power for themselves, they could usher in a new golden age for the city. Hopefully the mic isn't too close to my mouth, because it keeps hitting off my cheek, and it's actually kind of irritating. Their machinations brought only destruction and misery, hastening Arkova to its ruin, and driving them to pursue desperate means that brought them ruin on a catastrophic scale. Its weight is still heavy upon this land. You mentioned necromancers played a part in the final fall? She didn't. The final doom of Arkova, which has cursed these lands ever since, was indeed delivered by necromancers. Necromancy is an ancient art, but it flourished during the early days of Arkova's history, that is, until it was outlawed. Necromancers were hunted down and jailed in the steppes of torment. There they were punished for their transgressions against nature, but the dark art could never be fully stamped out. It is said that one of the necromancers imprisoned in the tower never aged, even after decades of imprisonment. They found that he could not be killed by any means within their power. He was known as Ur-Buruk, and his seeming immortality turned against him on the torturer's table. In the end, though, he had his vengeance. How did Ur-Buruk manage to carry out his vengeance? As Arkovia waned, the oligarchs became increasingly desperate and driven to extreme measures. When they learned of Ur-Buruk and his strange immortality, they were foolishly intrigued. The great houses lusted for the secret knowledge by which they could achieve immortality for their bloodlines, and they thought to compel that knowledge from the necromancer. Ur-Buruk played upon their desires and betrayed them with a false ritual that they were all too eager to believe. The souls of Arkovians were bound eternally to their cursed city, while their mortal flesh decayed. I sense there's something you're holding back? Yes, the most terrible part of the tale. I not thought to speak it, but you seem determined to seek the full truth. It's actually making me think a little of a thing in Full Metal Alchemist. There's a character, I can't remember its full name. It had a nickname, Dwarf in the Jar, or maybe that is its full name, and the other name I couldn't think of is the nickname. Either or. The Dwarf in the Jar promises immortality to the king, if only the king would do this ritual. The ritual requires them to carve out a giant symbol throughout the kingdom, and then some blood is required. Now this, I think the guy was once a slave, or still a slave, but he was working as an assistant. His blood was used. when the ritual goes through, only the dwarf in the jar and that slave are still alive. Everyone else has died. Well, something else has happened to them, but I've spoiled enough. But yes, it's just kind of, the false ritual. And instead of being bound to cities, the people, well, something else happened to them instead. But, it just made me think of that. Yes, the most terrible part of this tale. I had taught not to speak it, but she seemed determined to seek the full truth. The last part of the tale is of the children birthed after the ritual's magic had taken hold. They entered this world horribly deformed and inhuman. Their feet were said to be clawed, and from their backs sprouted diseased plumage, like the feathers of the birds who feast upon the dead. Not many venture to the Broken Hills anymore, but those who do say these accursed children of Arkova have endured, and I will prey upon travellers who pass through those lands. Thus the doom of Arkova was complete, wiping out the past and future bloodlines of the great houses, cursing these lands to this day. I have to be on my way. May your path be true. Well, that's fucked up. Do you know that Arkova is the ancient birthplace of the Rwani? I could tell you much of this land, if you have time for a tale. Really? I thought you said you had other options. Sorry, I'm so paranoid about background noise, I think I'm inventing it in my head. Rover bound to table, can't use that. Here's horse. Look, neutral. Look, I didn't know what I was getting into with Cronley until he had his hooks in me. Sure, I knew Cronley's reputation, but I figured, hey, I'd done some bad work myself. I just didn't count on how deep his darkness went. First I thought, this is a man with some vision. A leader who can cut a cushy life for us here by living fat off the spoils of rovers and the toil of lesser folk. Things just kept getting more twisted though. Cronley's closest men became fanatics, following his every command, no matter how depraved or bizarre. They stuck these damned green crystals in their flesh, became freakishly strong. Green crystals? Cronley's possessed. These things, freakishly strong. The things the order done to folk, sometimes just for sport. Couldn't take it no more. Made brutal examples of people who defected in the past, but I figured out a way. You see, I was captured. I didn't really defect. He'll see that, right? No, he won't. He'll punish you for getting captured. Interesting.
Keep your weapons where I can see them.
Welcome to our camp. What brings you here? Mornay sent me. There's 100 rep and 1,500 XP. So he did make it across the river. He was one tough son of a slit. Still has a bullet in him to prove it. It's still in him? Christ. If Mornay sent you, then he must think we can help each other out. Oh, quite. I didn't actually realize I was already in our old Arkova. If Mornay sent you, then he must think we can help each other out. Can I put those weapons of yours to use? No wonder that guy sent me off to kill a guy. These are roamers, but they've kind of forsaken, at least temporarily, the whole peacefulness way. Explains why they have so many well-armed people here. What do you need? Cronley's gang is well-armed and experienced. We are not. This is not a battle we're going to win by running in there head-on. We need to cripple them. This is where you come in. The outlaws have a series of forges, similar making to the one behind me, scattered throughout the 4 hills. If you destroy them, Darius's men won't be able to rearm themselves. I understand that this may not be your problem, but I'm willing to make it your problem for some iron. What do you say? We have a deal. Okay, we keep on going. We'll straight on. Christ. Well, that's cool looking. I look at the fucking cannon on that. Feck. Here, have some lightning. What a shocking development. That was more lethal than the, my mace here. Golgoth the Rampaging. 3, let's just keep smacking him. No need to... The magic doesn't work altogether that well. So, may as well just keep twacking him around the place. Oh, and there's Guardian's Will. Nice. Need to keep the blood thing up. I also need to buff that, because the one I use right now just is not good enough. There's 250 rep for killing the troll. Got a food ration. Charged. Oh, and we're now friendly with the rovers. Charged on Derringer. Shrewd restored gauntlets of clarity. And searing troll bone smasher of attack. Christ. Now that's good enough that I'm actually quite tempted in getting rid of this. Quite tempted. Though I suppose if I do, I will lose the shield bash ability there. Plus, well, it's plus 40 damage over what I currently have. Ooh, excuse me. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I'm just a little distracted right now. Where did you go? I swear I grabbed the grey there. And yet I'm not seeing it. Sylvie. Now it's 42 damage. Weird. Don't know why it suddenly went up, but it did. Can I be honest? I'm actually really indecisive on this. I would like to use it, but at the same time, I'm hesitant in giving up the gavel. Really, it's the gavel and shield. It is nice, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind doing heavier damage. I kind of miss Drom from Diablo, honestly. He had a 200 weapon and a shield, and it was just perfect. No. I know what I will do. I'll head back to the blacksmith in some stage and get him to make me a new shield. Here's a mine. I'll get him to make me a new hammer or something. Excuse me. Ooh, scavenge plating. Nice. Hanafi mine. Ha! Nice. Okay. Just a skirmisher. Also treat. They have a heretic. I guess it's their version of a occultist. I'll take it. I'll take it. Ooh, chest. Here's some dynamite. Here's this. Mine. Okay. A sadist. Okay. Let's have a wander around for a second. See what we can find. I might be able to find more dynamite. If I can get a nice little bit together, that'll be good. They tossed down a flare mine. Tree. Okay, there, that's done. And now I got vigorous incendiary shoulder plates of flame. Plus treat the Blackwater cocktail. Not bad, I suppose. Steel treads. Yeah, I was figuring they're inferior. There we go. And we're up top. Fuck. That was awesome. Like, seriously, that was cool. Oh, Wilkins' note. Let's go take a read. I take it we'll probably meet him at some stage. Christ. Who's that? Hellions, Helen's with a wat. Helen the rat. 3, 9. Okay. Sorry. Christ. 9. Fuck. Okay, that's down. Smack it. Thank you. Just keep beating on this guy now. I need to use the blood buff as much as I can, because that is useful. Straight out. No, that's not good. It's a straight out heal, and it also gives a bit of extra regen, retaliation, and also offensive abilities. You know, it is a good all-round, useful buff. Finally, that was classed as a boss. Good. Woo! Here is a ribbon of squalls. That's funny. Now I want to go play Final Fantasy VIII. Increases lightning and electrocute damage, offensive ability, and experience gained. So does all medals, it seems. But they have a lightning sphere granted skill, a 5% chance on attack. Release a concentrated burst of static energy which passes through foes. 2-second skill recharge, 66% chance to pass through enemies, 42 to 105 lightning damage, and 88 electrocute damage over 2 seconds. Quite nice. No. That is actually a little tempting, but no. Okay, I'll just grab all these. And you. Ribbon of the Flame. Increases burn damage and experience gained. Okay, we'll go this way. See if we can find any more TNT. Arcanus Scepter. Sure, we'll take it. We can sell it. Don't know how much money we'll get for it, but we can sell it. I wonder if the story she told is true. Considering it's a fantasy game, it's perfectly possible that it is true, but at the same time, just because it's a fantasy story doesn't mean all legends are true. They may have a few little flubbed ones, you know? The stories aren't entirely quite right. It's an amulet. +1 to fighting spirit, 3 to health regen, 4% to health, and 3% to physique. Sure. I'll take it and I'll put it on. Can't use the squalls thing until level 24. So 2 levels time. Where is it? Christ. It reduces my damage per second by a bit. I guess it's the whole offensive ability thing. No, it's the attack speed. I'll stick with what I have. You know, it always seems like these places only have a single bit of TNT in each. Hopefully it's exactly what you need to get everything. Because otherwise it's kind of fact, really. Like if you make the wrong choice that you don't know